Beautiful ignited souls, we are ready for a new creation. Beautiful ignited souls, okay. I am, yeah, when you open a tap or when the power is really, the pressure is really powerful, that's how I am feeling with the information that is coming. So much is coming, people, so much. Okay. Now, I have told you before that a lot of the movies are on number five will show a lot. But anyway, I just gave something on the Green Mile, and I would love to be able to do a review on the Green Mile altogether. So I'm just giving you some points just to observe. So the Green Mile, for instance, that's the movie The Green Mile with Tom Hanks. The Green Mile, Mile, is 41. So this would be 3, and this is 41. So this is 4. 41 is like father, like brother. I think brother as well. This is where Christ was calling Father, calling on God. And this is 15, which is 6. Adding this together is 13. So 10 plus 3, that's 13. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is the 12. Let us create man in our image after our likeness. The Green Mile. Okay. So 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So 12 is 6. The word 12 is 6. That is creating a new man. This is what is happening. So this is about transformation. Okay. The word 12. Now, so I'm just going to give some points on things that I notice. So there were the screenplay cast is 36 people, I think, which is what I saw online. So this would be 3 plus 6 is 12. Again, I mean 3 plus 9, 30, was it 36 people? So I'm thinking ahead. 36 people, so that would be 9, the cast. Now look at the word cast, people. As we have just done on many of the things, CAST, that comes in the column of 1, 2, 3. And perhaps that is why they say, oh, how do they call it, cut or C or 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3 gets you going. Okay, so that's the cast anyway. So Tom Hanks, let's look at this, what Hollywood does. Yeah, we had Tom Hanks. I'm just doing this on Tom Hanks and Michael Clarke Duncan. So TOMHANKS. And Tom Hanks is 12, because for time I thought I would do this 12, so this is 3, and Hanks is 17. I had to understand why I like him so much as well, or both of them really, but he has this 8 here. So this is 8. So 3 plus 8 is 11. So that means, and it's 38, it all actually comes to 38. So here, Tom Hanks is like the last 5, the 5 gods, or 5 gods, which is the ended, and it's no wonder he's, ended. He's that good. Formed, caused, breathed, and planted. So, and it's just so cool, planted as well. So this is the Tom Hanks hair, and he actually, I wanted to do the I haven't followed a good format for this, not like I have on. Okay, let's do that. And his name is Paul Edgecombe. Edgecombe. I thought, what a name. That got me thinking as well. Now, so his name is Paul, Paul. Paul is actually 23, if I remember, no, 14. Paul is 14. And so 14, of course, is 5. You got to know the thing about Paul in the Bible. Paul was radical, still was radical, but he was converted. So Paul was Saul before he was Paul, Aul. Instead, he was Saul, which was transformed. So we see just like the sacrifice Sa there, that's the same kind of like Sarah Sa, where you see that there is transformation. Okay, and free 3. So we see why with 3 3 as well, he had to go those double digits here for this transformation. So that is 6 7 8. So God had to break. This is the thing. When you encounter God, which they say, like Moses also did equal 8, or does equal 8, and met with God. That's 2 8s. 8 and 8 is 16, and that's how God hides, because Moses could not see him in the fire, and no one see his face, because he's hiding that other 8 to make more 8s, whatever it does. And that was Saul. So Saul, when he met with God and say, "Oh, it is me you're persecuting," and so on. So his name was changed to Paul. So that's where he became like Christ, right here. And of course, for being the key, wasn't it Paul who served as the key, writing letters, I think, to all the other disciples, even if he didn't walk with Christ, but it seemed like he found Christ even better than the others, because he said, brethren, remember we have to die with Christ. Remember we have to suffer with Jesus the same way he suffered, and blah, blah, and so on. Okay, so you get it. And his G.E. Combe. The movie begins with him, with Paul Edgecombe combing his hair. He's in a residential home, and so, or care home, and so it begins with, you could see Edgecombe. Okay, and the hair, the word hair is like denoting presence, but also it equals 9. So this motion is giving a way of saying, connecting here. I am present, and you're moving on to birthing newness. This happens in our bodies as well. It happens in our eyes. So get to understand, like your hand, each time you're handling something, you're creating something new. Okay, so Edgecombe, let's look at Edgecombe. He equals 36, and 36, just like we have done on the word cast. So that is really powerful, and is 9. So 5 plus 9, people, look at the numerical value that Tom Hanks has. He is God in reality here, we could say. Oh, no, he's God here, and free, which is let, like let there be light. He has 3 letters here. So this is 11. He's 11 here. Remember, we say 1 1 is 16, and it goes with the 16, the number 1 and number 1 again, and you could create, and you could add 7 plus 7, and it's 14, and you become. So basically, Tom Hanks is on a journey in reality here, if you want to say, but he's a key. He's got a key that he must use. He must use the key. He must find the lock, whatever it is, because key and lock must work together. Okay, now, of course, and to birth newness. So basically, birthing newness, as we see, there is some healing, but he's beginning, he's beginning and end, but this is end and this is beginning. 59. So this is end. The word end equals 5, and beginning. So he is going on a self-realization here. There's a self-realization, a journey is happening here. And he has to complete this, and adding this together becomes 14, and 14, of course, is 5, which takes him back to his first name. But at least that's what it is. He's discovering himself. Okay, Now we have, I want to, I wanted to compare this, but I won't do much on this. So we have Michael, 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 and Clarke, Clarke, and Duncan, Duncan. Never mind the writing, will just bear with me here. So Michael is actually 33. Now, this coincides with a lot of my recent videos where I just happened to watch The Green Mile again. But Michael actually is a warrior in a sense. He's gifted, but he's also and creative, but he's also very likely he has to discover himself. It's like death going through this 1111. This is him. He has this energy of 11, in a compound way, and he has to work this out as well. So there is a crucifixion because it comes to four ones. There is like a death happening here because four is death in that sense. And so he has to go through that transformation or transfiguration or sacrifice. Then we have Clarke is 23. The word 23 is life. So he is given, they sentence you to life. So he has that in his name here. Now, although that is his real name here, but we are just saying and just showing you that this is because his energy is still part of what he's playing. He is playing all those roles, which is part of Michael. Okay. Duncan is 31. No, it's 21. 21. So that is 3. Okay. So 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. People, this does not happen by chance. So here we can see 14, the makeup, the characters, it's like the directors or producers have all the information of the people and the energies that they want, that they know is going to match on some kind of level, because the person already is already made up of such a character or vibration. They need to reverberate anyway and will be very good at playing the roles. And so this is what we see, that he now is at 14 having the 14 gods, just like Paul. And so there is a key. Now, so far, you can see, even with 11, as we have showed as 1 1, with Tom Hanks as 11, and Michael here, they actually match very well, because 5 plus 11 is 16, and that they become the 1. 16, yeah, 1 and 6 become 7. I'm doing this in a way, 5 plus 11, yeah, is 16. 1 plus 6 is 7, exactly. And that is Jesus. This is Jesus, and this is Christ. Now, what happened in the Green Mile? Although I am talking about the real names here, which is again the constitute 5 names, as in number 5, which if was for time I would do the letters as well and really give you a good breakdown in this. But however, let's look at that. Now, Michael plays John, John. He plays the role of John Coffey. Is it Coffey? I hope I've got this correct. Oh, I haven't. Yes. And this is, so John is 20, so we say 2, and Coffee is 6. Is that correct? 6. So people, here we are. Adding this together is 8. This is what we are talking about. John Coffey then needs to break. He is, there was another, can we see here? He also even with just one name, Hanks, there's a relationship. There's a relationship here. So we are looking at, so let's look at 8 now. I even forgot this part. So this is 14, so this is 5. People, I want to show you something so deep, so delicious, so wonderful. I hope you get it. Okay. So, Kofi, here, we could take the names, we could play with this, but 8 and 5 is 13. So 13 is just like the sacrifice template. Someone dies. Someone dies. Just like the sacrifice template. So Kofi, of course, is sacrifice. What do we see happening in the movie? For instance, we see the handshakes, the black and white. We see the movie begins with 4 people in the kitchen or whatever, looks like the canteen, when Edgar, I say Edgar, sorry, when Paul takes his first walk, or he puts on a red coat. Red is 9. It's the beginning of the cycle here. And red is of the 3 letters as well. And you see in the hallway where there are 5 people in white. Then you see another part with the guards, with 5 of them in black and with white collars, the ties. Pay attention to how they stand and how some of them take their hats off. Or so 2 officers are occupied, their hands are holding on to something, but yet that too has polarities in the height. And 2, of course, with the hands bare, the 2 middle ones. We also have one's bald and one isn't, and the heights as well. So we see the principle of polarities is exhibited here, even down to the buttons, even down to the buckles. Have a close look, people. The whole thing was so enriched in numerology. So that's what I wanted to show you here. 8 now, and Kofi here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's what I mean about having 10 as masculine and feminine. That is planting right there. There's 10 is like this, and it's also saying let. The word let is to allow. So he's planting or being planted, and he was planted too, literally, you could say. Okay, so these are things you could also look at, the number of letters and how they play out on the sacrifice template. This is where someone can use the energy to say and make it work for them. So let's see what else. So the handshake, for instance, let's look at this. I feel I wanted to show you, yeah, there's something I really want to speak on. Okay, now again, another thing that was very symbolic was the dry toast that Paul would have as a ritual. It was his ritual when he went out on his walks. Okay. The toast were 2 pieces. Again, when Tom Hanks too came and gave Michael, which is John, when he to give John the cake with 4 pieces. So what happened? This cake was shared between 2. Each of them had 2. This is what I mean. There is 2 being buried. The word 2 here, TWO, equals 13, and of course 13 is actually 4 and another 4, which gives you 8. So the story is that is so parallel with the story of Genesis and they ate. So basically we see John ate. He gave the other one it to it as well. So there would be it, EAT. Hollywood gives you everything, people. So John ate. I don't remember the other guy's name, but he also ate. So there were two pieces each, meaning two is still representing here as the whole. Okay. The word it equals 8. Okay, 8 plus 8 is 16, and that's how we see once that was like breaking of the bread. And that's exactly what he did. And you also notice the other one that Tom Hanks, because it's like he divided. That's the Last Supper right there. So Tom Hanks Paul gives him the cake. He uncovers it. He does all this ceremony and looks at it, whatever it is, and he says it is yours. To what you want to fit, it is yours. So then he breaks it. Oh, there were two pieces, but then he gives back to John, or to Paul rather, and Paul takes it, gives to the other one, passes it, because this is what more or less Jesus did. He broke bread and passed it on to the and said, take this, do this in remembrance of me. Okay, so you can see the significance of this here. So they ate, and whatever it is, I don't remember if tea was given there, but to eat is also tea. And that is why Christians would be blessing the food more than blessing the tea. If they have a cup of tea, you won't really get them blessing it. But when it comes to food, when they're eating, they actually would bless it more. Okay, they're more likely to do that. Okay, but do it either way, more with your tea. Yeah. And yeah, and that is creativity. Each time you do that, you're breaking a cycle and moving into another cycle. Everything that is happening in the body is happening in your environment. It's happening on a larger scale. So there, they were on death row. This is what I want to show you. DEATH is 20, and row is also 20. That is also 20. That's what 2020 was about. People were on death row, and we were not aware, because we've been in prison all the time. We were not aware that we were on death row. Okay, again, 20 equals 8. The word 20, that would be 8, 8. And that's how a lot of people, okay, still happening. Okay, because it's the 4 years, 2024 people. Up to 2024, we will, get our ease after 2024. Then we have the change again. Okay, so I want to also show that on death row, there was a term that was said, this is my, or what will I say, when Paul was talking to his friend, his female friend, and says, this is what happened. And he said, yeah, I haven't spoken about this for over 60 years. This is the thing we need to pay attention as well. 60 years is 196 to 7. Okay, so this is 15, 22, 24, 25. So 2 plus 5 is 7, just like the 1. So this is a full cycle here. Full cycle, people. Like ONE would come to 1 to 7 to 7. Okay, so he hadn't spoken to anyone. He broke the silence. That is creation. A new creation was happening there. 60 years. Okay. Yeah. So he said, would he say, oh, it was my job, it was my job, my job, my job. So the my job was repeated twice. And so my is 11, and job, which is Job, is 9. This is like a 9-11, but 11-9. Okay, will you just say that? And that, of course, is still 11, which takes you on to another. Now, the handshake, there were two significant handshake shake with between John and Paul. Now, there is another thing we need to also pay attention. John and Paul, Paul, they both are four letters, because that's the crux of the story, is between really these two people, these two characters. I mean, the movie is just so brilliant all round, but we can see here that John and Paul, going by their first name, one is 2, one is 5. Already we see that is Jesus Christ. Jesus is 2, Christ is 5. This is what is happening here. So, Jesus, the story of Jesus Christ, is the culmination of the events or transformation that happened with both John and Paul. One died. This is where but we are talking about Judas and Jesus. Now, Judas hanged himself. Did he really die? They didn't say he died, but he hanged himself. Okay, so that's another story. You have to, okay. But that's the partnership here, because they both have 5 letters to their name. They both sounds like you have the us in there and so on. So that was something. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to note, that the handshake, yeah, hand, HANDSHAKE. Hand is 9 and shake is 8. So adding 9 plus 8 is 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. So this is so important that we get this, because what we see as God here, or whether God here, is actually where you are meeting, where you are focused. This one, yeah, but that is God. God is, remember I say that is always hiding. There's always another 8 that you don't see. God is lie. Basically, God is lie. 3, 9, 5. This is 17. This God is lie, which is why you were asked to believe, Believe, and so God can hide while you believe. In your belief, God can hide there. God is always hiding. This is God. God hides. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up and give you just few things that you can begin to observe. And as I said, I wanted to do something on the Bible, your Bible, to show the Bible on here actually, because this gave me an insight perhaps why there are so many people of color in Christianity, which although there is so much about whether they are serving a white Jesus or black Jesus and so on, but still it makes you question what's happening really. Before I move on to the Bible, just let's do this last bit of the Green Mile. So of course there's the handshake of the exchange of energy was happening. Of course, I hadn't watched apart from John being very gifted. John, you could say a physician, being very gifted, he healed the urinary infection. Really, oh, was trying to work out the exact significance. I know, of course, it's an infection, but the exact significance in terms of vibration or message or whatever it is that we could say. But so, of course, that affected his sex life. So it affected Paul's sex life, in a sense that he couldn't really enjoy or have joy, or which is the most creative energy. So that was restricted. So, of course, John, who was able to break it, if you like, was able to heal Paul. Okay, so but Paul found his key in John. Basically, he found his key in John. John represented death at that time, because John equals 20, and or which is, or 2 to be more precise, but having as 20, having the other 8, the 8, which he ate the cake. So so Paul found his healing, because Paul, as we say, equal 5, but he found his healing in John. Now so this is the other cycle. That meant that Paul would have gone through some transformation, but he needs to realize himself. He needs to know whether that key is going to unlock the door of death. The door of death in John. Okay, so basically we see how the cycles go. So the handshake I was talking about, handshake actually equals 8, and there was another handshake actually equals 8. 8 plus 8 is 16, and of course that formed 1. There's another thing that happened. Also, Paul lived for 108, which is what he said. So again, the word 8 was being reverberated, but it comes to 9, so that was another cycle here. And there's so much more to this. So what I was going to I just want to really give this, because I want to remind you that you have the Bible in you. Bible, the holy, holy. It's like Holy Bible, Bible. So when people say, oh well, the Bible is being watered down, it's not really from our tongue and or language, but they have hidden, this is what God has been hidden in this, hidden, and it's like you have to find. God is playing hide and seek, basically. Okay, so the THE, here we are, THE, or this is almost like, yeah, THE, quite symmetrical in the sense of distant. Okay, and which comes to 16, no, 15. 1 plus 5 is 6, so that would give you, put you in a new, you are the holy is HOLLY, so there is more of the holy there. So how to get out of jail? Learn the language on a peripheral. The first few videos I did is really it emphasizes learning the language, because like in the green mile, for instance, which I just been talking about, there's a part where he says where John says to Paul, I see me a mouse, or something like this. I kind of made a note of it, but don't quite. But I see me a mouse, but the words were reverse. So it's understanding, and that's what the serpent does as well. It's for you to see both sides of the coin, basically. That's what is being presented. So learn the root. That's why it leaves a trail, it leaves its skin. So you can begin to identify. The word skin is it. So let's eat. Thank you. Please stay ignited.